It's 2 a.m. Your eyes burn, your neck aches, and your body is practically begging for sleep. But your thumb? Your thumb keeps swiping. You are fully aware you should put the phone down. You actively want to sleep. Yet somehow you remain locked in a stare, absorbing content that only makes you feel worse. Your brain is caught in a mechanical loop, responding precisely to a digital environment engineered to bypass the prefrontal cortex. In 2006, a tech entrepreneur named Ozzer Raskin wanted to solve a minor annoyance. He thought the next page button on websites was clunky and interrupted a user's train of thought. So he designed a workaround, a feed that loaded new content automatically as you scrolled down, no clicking required. In doing so, he quietly eliminated the internet's natural stopping cues. A decade later, Raskin sat down with a pen and paper and did the math on his invention. He calculated that this single design choice now consumes the equivalent of more than 1 million human lifetimes every single day. By stripping away the physical boundaries of a page, a tool built for convenience evolved into an engine for structural compulsion. To understand why we can't look away, we have to look at the behavioral mechanism driving every social media algorithm: variable ratio reinforcement. It is the exact same psychological architecture that keeps a person sitting at a slot machine for hours, pulling a lever despite consistently losing. You don't get a reward every time you swipe. Most posts are boring, but eventually a surprising, funny, or outrageous piece of content appears. That unpredictability trains your brain to keep searching. This flowchart compares two chemical responses. Left, completion dopamine, the satisfaction signal when finishing a task. Right, anticipation dopamine, the drive to seek potential rewards. Social media runs entirely on this right side, pumping out anticipation dopamine, but infinitely denying you completion dopamine. Without a definitive finish line, your nervous system never receives the biological instruction it needs to disengage. Add to this our evolutionary negativity bias. For thousands of years, human survival relied on aggressively scanning the horizon for threats. During periods of high stress, algorithms lean heavily on this instinct. They surface a bottomless, frictionless stream of alarming news because fear is highly engaging. When bombarded with this much distress, the body enters a clinical state known as dorsal vagal drift. It is a mild form of dissociation where your physical system essentially powers down to protect you from emotional overload. The screen has become a digital anesthetic. You've entered a state where you're scrolling to numb the very anxiety the feed generated. Your nervous system has intentionally shut down to escape the overwhelm, but your thumb remains trapped in that biological seeking loop. The result is pure exhaustion. Technology platforms have no financial incentive to dismantle this architecture. Their entire advertising model depends on harvesting human attention for as long as possible. But this business model is finally facing macro-level pushback. The European Union recently implemented the Digital Services Act, aiming directly at these structural mechanics. Under this framework, regulators are actively investigating major platforms, officially classifying features like the infinite scroll as a systemic risk to public health. While global legislation might eventually force platforms to change their code, you cannot afford to wait years for international law to protect your mental health today. Trying to beat a carefully engineered habit loop with sheer willpower is a losing battle. Your prefrontal cortex is simply outmatched by billions of dollars in behavioral design. The first effective countermeasure is friction. By placing your phone physically out of reach, even just across the room, you force yourself to stand up. That tiny physical pause gives your brain the crucial seconds it needs to override the impulse. If you catch yourself caught in the feed, try a 90-second reset. Pause, take a breath, and name the specific emotion you are trying to avoid. Are you anxious? Are you lonely? Or just bored? Once you identify the feeling, you can turn to this, a dopamine menu. This diagram represents a list of low-friction analog activities, like taking a 5-minute walk, reading a single physical page, or sending an audio note to a friend. Unlike the infinite scroll, these are finite tasks. They have a distinct beginning and end, which forces the brain to close the loop and triggers that missing hit of completion dopamine. Reclaiming your attention begins with recognizing the mechanics of the trap. You can finally let go of the guilt, Build some physical friction into your environment and give your nervous system permission to walk away.